Have you ever been walking through a forest and then suddenly seen a big hole? Then, in this very moment, a thought comes into your mind. What would happen if I just jump into it? In another situation, you are around a campfire and you just think, maybe it will be nice if I stick my hand into the fire. Why is that? Why our brain tricks us to do or to think stuff like that? Maybe there's some dark secret hidden inside all of us. All of us have had these so-called intrusive thoughts, like you stay safely around an abyss and then suddenly you just feel the urge to jump into it. But to try to understand that, we have to go back in history. We have to go to the time when we humans were nothing more than gatherers and hunters. You see, we survived not because we are faster than tigers or stronger than bears. On the contrary, our bodies are more like on the weaker side if we compare them to the other hunters, to the other animal hunters. However, we became the most dominant species on Earth thanks to the development of our brain. We may not be faster than tigers, but we can think of a place to hide so it can't reach us. We may not be stronger than bears, but we've crafted and we made traps, and with them we even hunt them. The development of this incredible organ called the brain happened only for one reason: survival. And as a tool for this survival, we have something called the instinct of self-preservation. Every living being is born with this instinct, but we humans at one point completely surrendered to it. And the more the grey matter in our heads developed, the more we were enslaved by it. And as a result, fear appeared. We experience fear in nearly every situation. The problem is, its only purpose was also to just preserve us, like physically. Imagine you are a caveman. You go out of your cave to find some food. Then suddenly you hear a noise coming from the near bush. What would you think? Nearly no one would think, oh, that must be something nice, I'll go check it out. What we all would do is just run as fast as we can and as far as we can. It's not worth it to check this bush out because at some point maybe a bloodthirsty predator is hiding there. It's just not worth it risking our lives. That is how our brain works. So that is exactly what fear is. We try to predict the future based on past experiences, and then we choose to believe in the worst possible outcome of every situation. But that was useful like 10,000 years ago. It was way better to just run and search for food somewhere else and not becoming a dinner for some saber-tooth. And that kind of bravery was only possible in really extreme situations. Nowadays, there are no predators hiding in the bushes. We don't need even to go out to take our food. But evolution is a really slow process. If humanity needed hundreds of thousands of years to develop a brain who effectively protect us against dangers and against predators, now a really small amount of time have passed since we no longer need to run and hide from them. It's just physically we cannot adapt ourselves to a world that changed so much in so short time. And in the new world, with all technologies that we have, it is just nearly impossible to keep up with everything. As a result, our body and our brain still have a very strongly expressed instinct of self-preservation. We very often feel fear from invisible threats. It's like always the worst case scenario is playing in our heads. And this applies of every area of our life, of our everyday life. For example, if you are crossing the street, you're just thinking, what if someone doesn't see me and just run me over? Or in another situation, you see your girlfriend or boyfriend talking to a stranger and then suddenly you feel jealous.
Boy, jealousy is one ugly thing up close.
In your head, the worst possible scenario plays there. And then instantly, almost unconsciously, you start to prepare for the worst possible outcome. And here is perhaps the most important thing we have to realize. And it is that our brain replaces these worst possible scenarios just to prepare us if they become reality. It tries to predict an improbable situation, and that's why you just start thinking how would you escape from it. That also happens because the brain remembers that similar situation has happened to someone, somewhere, somehow. It could be a story you once heard. Maybe somebody told you about it. It could be a movie you saw, or a video game you played. Something similarly instantly plays in your head. Do you understand how unnecessary all of this is? You just focus. If you don't observe your thoughts, that is, you just focus on some situation that has like 0.0001% of chances of happening. But the problem is, your body doesn't know that you are replaying something in your head that might happen. Your body thinks that everything you are thinking is happening to you right now. To it, you're experiencing these thoughts in this very moment. That's why it produces something called stress. And so the process begins. Thought, reaction, emotion. You have a thought, then your body thinks it is happening right now, so you have a reaction from it, and that triggers an emotion that you start to feel. For example, the thought that you might fall from somewhere makes the body believe that you're already falling, so it starts to prepare you for these situations, just producing a cocktail of hormones to signal your body for danger and a stressful situation. At that moment, you start to feel bad and stressed. In mild cases, it just manifests as anxiety or restlessness. But if we frequently give in to those thoughts, they can lead us to some really serious psychological or even physical disorders. Now, maybe the question is how to avoid those states of mind, how to avoid this fear. Well, firstly, we have to learn how to observe our thoughts, like from outside of the body. We have to learn how to observe them and then identify those intrusive thoughts, identify the thoughts of fear. And then we just have to take them out of our body. We have to change them immediately. In the moment that we identify them, they have no more power over us. So we can then easily change them with a positive thoughts. It's the only logical and possible way if we want to feel just a little happier every day. Just learn how to observe yourself, observe your thoughts, observe your body, observe every reaction that your body gives you to everything that you are doing. This way, you always know the right way to where you have to go and what you have to do in your life. Thanks for watching.